So I'm going to read from Within Reason from the chapter, The History of Soccer, the Butterfly Effect and Public Health. My favorite game by some distance is soccer. A key issue in the soccer world, which has belatedly come to the fore in recent years, is the pay gap between players of women's soccer and men's soccer. As justification for a status quo where women players earn less than men, one often hears that the pay gap simply reflects the fact that women's soccer has consistently smaller audiences than men's soccer. While it is true that the audience for women's soccer is smaller, this raises questions. Did this disparity simply happen? Or were these discrete events in the past choices made that over time led to the present outcome? The answers lie in the history of organized women's soccer, which dates back to the 19th century. In the 1890s, there were several women's soccer clubs in England. In the early 1900s, some of their matches attracted thousands of spectators. This progression, building in parallel with men's soccer, came to an abrupt halt in 1921, when the Football Association banned women's soccer from the grounds of its clubs, out of a belief that the game was, quote, unsuitable for women. It was more than 45 years later, in 1969, that the Women's Football Association was formed. It's hard to think that this early disinvestment in women's soccer did not play a critical role in shaping public attitudes toward the sport and in constricting the game's reach by limiting women players' access to resources male players had. It makes sense that men's soccer would have a larger audience today, given that the sport had a decades-long head start on enjoying the resources and institutional backing of the FA. This advantage can, to a large extent, be traced back to that initial decision to bar women from the FA's clubs, a choice that has had a ripple effect over time, producing a culture where men's soccer remains, though one hopes not forever, the dominant draw. Within the larger network of social, economic, and political choices that shape the world of professional soccer, the FA's 20th century response to women's playing the game has become, in the 21st century, a factor shaping the present that fans and players now live in. This dynamic, in which a seemingly small decision ripples over time and within complex circumstances to shape a major outcome, is an example of the butterfly effect. The butterfly effect reflects the dynamics of a system's process in health, in which health outcomes unfolding in populations are seen less as products of a linear equation and more as what they are, emergent properties of complexities nested in overlapping systems. Within these systems, small changes can lead, over time, and as a consequence of complexity, to outcomes of profound significance. This has implications for how we think about health and for how we implement solutions towards a healthier world. It challenges our assumptions that certain states of affairs have always been so and are the natural conditions of our world, rather than the products of countless discrete variables rippling over time and across systems to shape the present.